Have you ever talked to your cat like a human and wondered what your cat is really thinking when you talk to them? Maybe after a long day you sit down, start talking, and your cat just stares at you like they understand every word. And that's the strange part. Sometimes it really feels like they do. But is your cat reacting to your voice, your emotions, or something much deeper? Why do some cats meow back, slow blink, or come closer exactly when you need them most? And what does that silent look actually mean? Let's find out. Point 1. What your cat hears. First, we need to reset our understanding of reality. Cats don't process human language the way we do. While they can and do learn to recognize specific, highly important words, like their name, they aren't listening to grammar or complex concepts. So what do they hear when you speak in full sentences? Your cat may not understand every word you say, but they do feel the rhythm, tone, and emotion in your voice. It's a little like standing in calm water and feeling the movement around you. You may not focus on every ripple, but you still feel the current. Their ears are masterpieces of biological engineering. A human can hear up to 20,000 hertz. A cat, up to 64,000 hertz. They hear ultrasounds that are pure silence to us. They hear the squeak of a mouse on the other side of a wall, the nearly imperceptible hum of a phone charger, the rustle of your clothes as you move. They evolved to hunt small, quiet prey, so their entire world is built on hypersensitive acoustics. When you speak, your cat doesn't just hear you, they absorb you. Every tiny shift in tone, every pause between your words, the tension in your breath when you've had a bad day. It all becomes part of a complex symphony they use to map your emotional state. They aren't listening to your story. They are listening to the music behind your story. So if cats are not listening to words the way humans do, how do they know it is you almost instantly? Point 2. Voice and memory. Okay, you might be thinking, if they only hear music, how do they know it's me talking? The answer lies in one of the most fascinating abilities of the feline mind, long-term associative memory. Cats don't just live in the present. They record moments that matter and, most importantly, the associations linked to those moments. Think about this. When you come home and say in a cheerful tone, "Hey, I'm home," your cat doesn't understand the sentence, but they have filed that specific sound, that melody, that rhythm, in a special drawer in their mind. In that drawer, that sound is folded neatly next to the scent of your clothes, the rhythm of your footsteps on the floor, and the time of day it usually happens. They are incredibly smart at picking out the specific sounds that bring value to their lives. It's a symphony of context, and your voice is the lead instrument. Though, let's be honest, the exact sound of their name or the crinkle of the treat bag is often the headline act because they know those specific sounds mean a reward is coming. Over the years, you are building an entire emotional library inside your cat's mind. Every time you speak with love, with calm, with care, you are laying down threads of memory. You are creating an archive where your emotional voice lives forever. Your tone becomes a memory. Your rhythm becomes reassurance. In one famous experiment, researchers played recordings of cat owners and strangers' voices to cats. When they heard the strangers, the cats showed little interest. But when they heard their human's voice, even without being called by name, their ears would move, their head would turn. They recognized the melody. They recognized the sound of home. Your voice is not just a fleeting sound. It's the soundtrack to their safety. But recognizing your voice is only the surface level of what may really be happening. Point 3. Reading your emotions. Let's go deeper into this concept. Studies show that cats are incredibly sensitive to prosody. It's a scientific term, but the concept is simple. It's the musical and emotional aspect of speech. The tone, the rhythm, the intonation. Cats are masters at decoding our prosody. Think about the way we instinctively talk to a small baby or a puppy. We use a higher, softer, almost sing-song voice. This is no accident. In nearly every culture, a high-pitched melodic tone is perceived as non-threatening, friendly, and reassuring. Cats respond to this instinctively. Conversely, a low, sharp, sudden tone resembles a growl or a hiss. It's a warning signal in the animal kingdom. This is why you can say the most beautiful sentence in the world: "You are the best cat in the universe," with a harsh, angry tone, and your cat will stiffen or run away. But you can whisper sweet nonsense to them, and they will come closer, purring. It's not what you say, it's how you make it feel. You become their emotional barometer. Their voice is their weather. A calm tone is a sunny day. A tense, frustrated tone is an approaching storm. They don't know why the weather is changing, but they feel the drop in pressure in the air and seek shelter. A terrifying amount of power, considering this is the same creature that will knock a glass off the table just to watch it fall. This is an invisible responsibility we carry. We have the power to soothe or stress our cat just by speaking. Not by yelling, not by punishing, simply by existing loudly or softly. Because listening is only half of the conversation, and their answer is often hidden in signals most owners miss. Point 4. Answering without words. So far, we've talked about how they listen, but communication isn't a one-way street. While you are talking, they are answering you, constantly. But they use a language most of us are not trained to hear, a silent language made of body and energy. It starts with the eyes. Have you ever noticed that slow blink? It's not sleepiness. It's a gesture of absolute trust. In the feline world, a direct stare is a challenge. To close your eyes in front of another living being is the ultimate act of vulnerability. That slow blink is the feline equivalent of a whispered, "I love you." It's a signal that says, "I trust you so much that I can let my guard down in your presence." When you speak softly and they respond this way, they are mirroring your calm energy. Then there's the tail. It's an emotional antenna, a tail held straight up with a little curve at the tip. That's a happy greeting, and "I'm glad to hear your voice." A tail twitching nervously? That could be irritation or overstimulation. And the most intimate gestures, the gentle headbutt on your chin or your leg, sometimes not so gentle, especially when it's 5 a.m. and their breakfast is late. This is not just a sign of affection, it's an act of scent marking. Cats have scent glands on their face, and by rubbing against you, they are depositing their scent. They are saying in their chemical language, "You are part of my family. You are mine." They are weaving their world together with yours. When they rub against your leg after you speak, they aren't just passing by. They are sealing the conversation with touch. They are saying, "I have heard you, and I answer with my presence." Now, I'm really curious about your experience, because I think almost every cat owner has had one of these moments. Have you ever talked to your cat like a human and suddenly felt like your cat understood more than expected? Tell me what your cat does when you talk to them, because those little reactions say so much more than people realize. But some of their responses go beyond body language, and that is where this gets surprisingly personal. Point 5. The truth about cat empathy. There's a persistent and cruel myth about cats that they are cold, aloof, and indifferent, that they only tolerate us for food. But anyone who has truly lived with a cat knows this is a lie. The truth is, their empathy isn't loud like a dog's. It's subtle, surgical, almost spiritual. In human psychology, there is a concept called attunement. It's the ability to sense and respond to another's emotional state in real time, without the need for words. Cats are natural masters of attunement. They live in a world where every vibration matters, where stillness has meaning, and where silence is never empty. When you are sad, your posture changes. Your breathing becomes shallower, your energy field contracts, and they feel it. This is why so many people tell the same story. I was crying, and my cat, who usually keeps to himself, came and curled up on my chest. The cat is not trying to fix your problem. It's doing something much more profound. It is sharing space with your emotion. It doesn't run from your pain, it moves toward it. It offers its calm presence as an anchor in your inner chaos. They don't react, they reflect. They soften when you soften. They hide when your frustration grows too loud. And they return the moment your breath slows down again. This is not indifference. This is a form of emotional intelligence so deep that we often fail to even recognize it. And if that emotional sensitivity is real, then there is one reason your voice may become part of their sense of safety. Point 6. Voice, routine, and safety. Think about your cat's day. For us, it's marked by schedules, appointments, and deadlines. For them, it's marked by rituals. The morning ritual. The sound of the alarm, followed by the sound of your still sleepy voice. The food ritual. The sound of a can opening, accompanied by your gentle words. The homecoming ritual. The sound of keys in the door, and immediately after your greeting. And of course, their immediate inspection to see if you've brought them anything or if you still smell weirdly of the outside world. These are not just events. They are the pillars that hold up the structure of their world. They are the moments that confirm that everything is okay, that their universe is stable and secure. And your voice? It is the soundtrack to these sacred rituals. When you speak during these moments, you are not just communicating. You are reinforcing their reality. You are reaffirming the bond of trust between you. This is why your absence can be so disorienting for them. It's not just the lack of a person. It's a break in the fundamental rhythm of their existence. An architecture that has crumbled. And your return restores the balance. Your voice, as you cross that threshold, is the sound that says, order has been restored. The world is back in its place. In their eyes, you are part of their landscape, a trusted figure in the architecture of their day. When you speak, they don't hear an instruction. They sense the presence of a lighthouse, not a drill sergeant. And this brings us to the question that confuses almost every cat owner at some point. Point 7. What your cat really thinks. We've arrived at the final question. After exploring how they hear, how they remember, and how they respond, what does your cat really think when you talk to them? While they might filter your voice for a few key words that matter to them, they don't think in sentences. They primarily think in pure feelings, in emotional concepts. When you approach and speak softly, they likely think something that translates to, "This is the sound of my world. This sound means safety. This presence is my home." When you are crying and they come closer, their thought might be, "The atmosphere has changed. My person is unstable. My steady presence is needed here now." When you are happy and your voice is bright, they feel, "The energy is good. The world is in harmony. I can fully relax." The deepest conversation you will ever have with your cat is not about the words you use. It's about sharing a frequency. You become two souls moving within the same soundscape. One vocal, one silent, both completely aware of each other. And maybe that's why we say cats are mysterious. Not because they don't speak, but because they speak in a way we've forgotten how to hear. So here's the real mystery. If your cat truly hears your tone, your emotion, and your presence, why do they sometimes act like you don't exist at all? In the next video, you'll discover why that silence can mean trust, focus, or something much more serious.